Hello everyone and welcome back to Kay's Journey. Today we're going to look at California maternity leave and how much time do you get off, taxes, we have questions about additional income. I am a mother of one, just ending my maternity leave now and going back to work, striving to stay at home with my son as much as possible. But I know navigating as a new mom, looking at maternity leave, it can be very confusing if you've never dealt with government agencies before other than the DMV, which we know how much of a nightmare that is. So just think about EDD. It's crazy. Okay, so first, how much time do I get off? So the quick answer is 22 to 24 weeks depending on your delivery. We're going to look at this first line here, which is your projected due date. Then we have the birth. So babies are unpredictable and they will come when they want to. So your projected due date is what your doctor is looking at when determining the disability date that you can take off. So with the state of California, we have short-term disability or SDI, which we can take up to 4 weeks before your projected due date. This can be altered depending on your doctor's orders. So if there are some complications before your birth that the doctor is concerned about, he or she can let you off a little bit earlier than those 4 weeks with the doctor's note. Now, standard would be 4 weeks before your projected due date. Again, that's 4 weeks before your projected due date. What not everybody understands is that there is a waiting period through the EDD in which 1 week is unpaid. The remaining 3 weeks will be paid through the EDD, short-term disability. Now, you can't apply for the short-term disability until the first day of your leave. So that's your working Friday, and then you can apply for short-term disability on Saturday. And with the EDD, how the payment system works is that they pay you a set amount per day. This is not weekly, so you're going to be paid for every single day that you're off within the short-term disability or PFL. That's for weekends. You have a set amount, maybe it's $200 for every single day, and you're getting that 7 days a week. Okay, so now you're going to have your baby, whether it's before, after, exactly on your projected due date. That is when the recovery period will start. Now, this varies depending on how you gave birth. It'll be 6 weeks for natural birth or 8 weeks if you had a C-section, and this is all paid through the California EDD SDI short-term disability program. Okay, so after your recovery period has ended, you will have 8 weeks of paid family leave, or PFL, which is all paid again through the EDD, though this is another claim that you have to submit. Once your short-term disability ends, the EDD will send you another form to fill out to continue your benefits through paid family leave. So after your 8 weeks of paid family leave has been completed, you have an additional 4 weeks of optional unpaid time off that's going to be covered under CFRA or FMLA, just to have your job protected while you are still off. If you want to stay with your baby a little bit longer, this is a great time to use that. Just save up your money so it'll last you another 4 weeks of not being paid. Now you have 1 year, or by the time the baby turns 1 year, to use these 12 weeks of either PFL or your extra 4 weeks of unpaid through FMLA or CFRA. So maybe you want to go back to work right after your recovery period. You go back to work, and then maybe during the summer, you're going to take your 8 weeks off, plus your 4 weeks of unpaid. You can still do this, and your employer has to comply. You can even split these weeks up. My husband, for instance, took off 2 weeks of the 8 weeks of paid family leave to stay with the baby right after I gave birth. And then he saved a few of the other weeks to use once I go back to work. So we have split childcare. Moving on, how much do I get paid? And this is going to be updated for 2025. So now, starting January 1st, 2025, you are now eligible to receive 70 to 90% of your regular weekly wages. Now before, it was 60%, that's what I got. Now if you have an income less than $63,000 here in California, you'll receive 90% of your wages. If you're a higher income earner, you'll receive about 70%. This is calculated by averaging your last 18 months of pay stubs, and this includes commissions, bonuses, overtime, PTO. So make sure while you're getting ready to have your baby or you're pregnant right now, try and get as much as your commissions, as much as your bonuses as possible. That way it'll increase this average. Things to note. Now don't forget about that waiting period at the beginning of your SDI. This is 1 week of no pay, 3 weeks of paid. Okay, so if you need money during that time, you can use either your PTO that you have through your company, or you can use the sick time to supplement for any lost wages during that waiting period. Can I get more time off? This is what I was thinking, maybe 2 or 3 weeks into my recovery period. You have your baby, you're feeling amazing when you're with your baby. You have a little bit of postpartum depression, hormones are raging, maybe you experienced a traumatic birth. You're thinking, how can I get more time off? There's no way I can go back to work in a few weeks. This was my predicament right when I had my baby. Can I get more time off? The quick answer is yes, up to 20 more weeks through the SDI. So once you talk to your doctor, they will need to fill out a supplemental certification. Now this is what the EDD will send you once you're nearing the end of your disability leave. The supplemental certification will be sent to you through your portal, and this is what your physician will need to fill out in order to give you extra time off. Now just remember, additional time off is subject to those with physical, emotional, or mental complications due to childbirth. The mom will need to complete the 2500A, which is the claim for continued benefits, if your physician does fill out that supplemental certification. So this is our end of all the paperwork that has to get done. It's a pretty easy form to complete, and you can do this through your portal as well. All right, here is some important information regarding federal and state taxes. So for your short-term disability or SDI payments, you do not have to file your taxes or pay any taxes through state or federal. And paid family leave, or the PFL, you will not be taxed through the state, but you will be taxed federally for any money that you do receive from them. So after your PFL has been completed, they'll send you a paper in the mail showing how much money was paid out to you, and this is what you'll give your CPA when filing your taxes for the following year. I'm going to walk you through my personal experience with maternity leave in California. So my projected due date was August 18th. My baby decided to be a little late. He was cozy in there, and he came 2 weeks later. I had to be induced. So on July 19th, I took my short-term disability. So that's 4 weeks before my projected due date, plus the extra 2 weeks and 2 days that he was sitting in there until I gave birth. Now from September 2nd, I had short-term disability recovery period, which is the 6 weeks since I had a natural. Now due to complications with my third-degree tear, my midwife signed off for another 4 weeks of disability. So that would be from October 15th through November 11th. After that, my paid family leave began. So that would be 8 weeks from November 12th through January 9th. Following my PFL, I took the CFRA or FMLA. In my case, I received CFRA for the job protection for another 4 weeks. So in total, I received 24 weeks of paid leave and 5 weeks of unpaid leave. Now I'm going to tell you how I received almost $4,200 in extra cash right into my bank account by investing in supplemental insurance. During the open enrollment period for my medical through my employer, I noticed that there were a couple different options for supplemental insurance, with one being supplemental short-term disability. Now, short-term disability can be for a non-work-related illness, an injury, or in our case, pregnancy. For pregnancy, the supplemental short-term disability will cover the 6 to 8 weeks of recovery time. I opted into supplemental short-term disability, where I would be investing $8 in my biweekly paycheck. So that comes to $16 a month, or just about $200 a year. My supplemental insurance went through Mutual of Omaha, and on my claim policy, they would cover up to 20% of my gross income, which would be the same averages that the EDD is taking to calculate how much they will pay you. By investing $16 a month, I was able to collect about $2,400 in extra income that will only be taxed federally. To receive your supplemental short-term disability, you'll have to complete a form through your insurance company that's very similar to the SDI form that you get from the EDD. This form will also have to be signed by your physician as well. The next plan I'm going to talk about is the hospital indemnity plan. Now, this was also a supplemental insurance that went through my employer, also going through Mutual of Omaha. The hospital indemnity plan will cover any costs that your medical insurance does not cover. It provides a cash benefit for hospital-related fees. This benefit can be used to pay out-of-pocket medical expenses, help supplement your daily living expenses, or cover unpaid time off work. The hospital indemnity plan will cover any costs that your medical insurance does not cover. The hospital admission and confinement amounts may vary depending on your policy. This is an example here of mine that I got through Mutual of Omaha. So you can see hospital admission, they can pay you up to $1,000 per admission, daily hospital confinement, $50 a day, etc. That's why it's so important to keep a copy of your hospital summary that lays out your admission date and your discharge date, as well as any procedures that you may have gotten during your stay. Let's break down the numbers. So I invested approximately $6 from every biweekly paycheck, which would come out to $12 a month or $144 a year. In total, from my hospital indemnity plan, I was paid just shy of $1,800. And this is a lump sum payment that's directly deposited into your bank account. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any of those for you. Like this video, please make sure that you're subscribed. I'd love to keep you here on my journey, Kay's journey. Thanks so much. Bye.